How's it going, everybody? CJ here, back with another video. Today I'll be doing a deck tech. This deck is Thelon of Havenwood. Each fungus gets +1/+1 for each spore counter on it. You can pay Golgari, remove a fungus card in a graveyard from the game to put a spore counter on each fungus in play. So this deck is all about funguses and saprolings. It's very gimmicky, but it's a very gimmicky and slow deck, but if it can get rolling, it can do a lot. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny too. Before we start that though, I want to give a quick shout out to right here. We got Adam Rosenblum, Fox Noctum on Twitter and YouTube. He does altars and stuff. It's a little token, and picked up this altar from him. It's pretty awesome. Command tower with plank for you Ed and Eddie fans. If you're interested in this guy, check him out. He does good work, and he threw in this little token for this little altar for free. Did not even know what to expect for this one. Just totally a free, just a free altar thrown in. But this guy's sweet, going right into a deck. And so yeah, we're just gonna hop into the video now. Start off with the most important part of the deck, the funguses. So basically all the funguses have the first line of text the same. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a spore counter on X. In this case, Psychotrope Thalid. And then you do stuff with the spore counters, or you just make them big with Thelon. Like this one, you can remove 3 spore counters out from it to put a 1/1 green sapling into play. And you can pay 1, sack a sapling to draw a card. Thalid Shell Dweller, same thing, so this one's got the Fender, and you can remove 3 to make a sapling. Thalid Devourer, same thing with the spore counters, same thing with making a sapling, but you can sack a sapling to give it +1/+2. Savage Thalid, same thing, and you can sack a sapling to regenerate target fungus. Thalid Germinator, same thing. Sacrifice a sapling, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Sporoloth Ancient, same thing for the first thing. They all are going to say at the beginning of your upkeep, put a spore counter on it. And then creatures you control have removed 2 spore counters from this creature, put a 1/1 green sapling creature token into play. So this one's just strictly better because only 2 counters instead of 3. We got Elvish Farmer, which, along with the creating a sapling for 3 and the spore counter, lets you sack a sapling to gain life. Vitaspore Thalid. This one's special thing is you can sack a sapling to give a creature haste until end of turn. Deathspore Thalid. You can sack a sapling to give a creature -1/-1. Spore Sower Thalid. It's the same thing as all the other ones, except at the beginning of your upkeep, put a spore counter on each fungus you control. So that's pretty sweet. Utopia Mycon. Same thing. Sack a sapling for mana. Thalid. Same thing. The majority just say, make a sapling for 3 spore counters, beginning of your upkeep, put a spore counter on it. And Fungal Bloom. 2 green, put a spore counter on a target fungus. So, a lot of spore counters, a lot of saplings being made here. It's pretty slow, but there's definitely ways to speed it up, and we'll get into that shortly. Next up, we got the sapling cards. So, just this pile is just all stuff that makes saplings, like Sapling Migration, Fungal Plots. This lets you also sack 2 saplings to gain 2 life and draw a card. Tendershoot Dryad, one of the best ones. Beginning of each upkeep, you create a sapling, and if you have the City's Blessing, they get +2/+2. Verdant Forest, each upkeep, you make a sapling. Fungal Sprouting, put X 1/1 green sapling creature tokens into play, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Michaeloff as Devour 2. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a 1/1 green sapling creature token onto the battlefield for each +1/+1 counter on Michaeloff. So when it enters, you can sack 2 creatures to give it 2 +1/+1 counters because of Devour 2. Thelonite Hermit. All saplings get +1/+1. It's got Morph, and when it's turned face up, you get 4 1/1 green sapling creature tokens. Spore Crown Thalid, one of the best cards in the deck because it's a lord for both funguses and saplings. And Spore Swarm. create 3 1/1 green sapling creature tokens at instant speed. And so now you're going to have a big board of saprolings and some funguses. We got to show you now how to close out the game with those. There's a lot you can do when you got a massive board. So make them big and swing out. That's the easiest way to win. Storm the Citadel gives them all +2/+2, and whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. Coat of Arms is probably the best card in the deck. You're gonna just be swinging out with huge saprolings from this. Loyal Guardian, it gives your creatures all +1/+1 counters, so that's going to add up very quickly. Enraged Forerunners, basically mini hoof. Song of Freyalise, it lets you tap your saplings for mana, and eventually they get bigger, but then they also have some keywords for the turn. Regal Force, you're going to make a lot of saplings. They're all green. You can draw a bunch of cards off them with Regal Force. Shamanic Revelation, same thing. Make a ton of dudes and draw cards. And if you do it in the later game, you're going to gain a lot of life too, because they'll end up being pretty big. And Orin Frostfang, just a good way to draw cards and make it so your creatures are harder to block because they'll have Death Touch. Good way to speed up the process. Doubling Season, double the number of tokens and double the number of counters. So you'll be making tokens twice as fast and spore counters twice as fast. Palm Bright Druid, it's got Proliferate on ETB, or you can put a +1/+1 counter on a creature. Peer, Imaginative Rascal, instead of one counter, you get 2 counters. Pretty good. Yawgmoth lets you proliferate by discarding a card. It's also a sack outlet, which is pretty big for this deck. Planewide Celebration, you can proliferate 4 times with this, or regrowth if you need to, gain life if you need to, and make dudes if you need to, but typically it's some mixture of proliferate and regrowth. Evolution Sage, land enters the battlefield, proliferate, great card. Winding Constrictor, same thing as Pierre, just get extra counters. Big sub theme in this deck is sacrificing, because you're gonna have a lot of 1/1s, so you gotta make use of them until you have the cards to make them huge. Might as well use them to get card advantage and such. So you got a sacrifice outlet here with Yahenni, who can become very big and has haste. Vraska can turn your saprolings into life and cards, along with being removal. And if you ever ultimate her, you're going to win the game with just swinging out with a bunch of saprolings. Skull Clamp, pay 1 mana to draw 2 cards, and pay 1 mana, sack a saproling, draw 2 cards. That's all this really says. Poison Tip Archer, it's a good way to kill your opponents because of the life loss from your creatures dying. Slimefoot, same thing. It's only for the saprolings, but that's all that really matters. Plus you gain life, and if you have extra mana, you can make more saprolings. Moldvine Reclamation, whenever a creature you control dies, you gain life and draw a card. Death Reap Ritual, at the beginning of each end step, if a creature died this turn, you may draw a card. This can add up really easily because it's not just your creatures. Fecundity, whenever a creature dies, that creature's controller may draw a card. So it's a little more group huggy because it's a symmetrical effect, but you're going to have a lot more creatures dying for the most part. Catacomb Sifter, if a creature dies, you can scry 1, and when it ETBs, it makes an Eldrazi Scion, which you can sack for mana. And we got Regrowth and Golgari Finebroker just to bring something back, so that way you can replay it. So like if you need to sacrifice something big and you want it back, you can get it back. Now we got the removal package. We have Force of Vigor for pesky artifacts or enchantments, Golgari Charm to get another enchantment, but it's really here to regenerate each creature you control, act almost as a counter spell. Death Sprout, you can destroy a creature, get a land. Murderous Rider, pretty sure everyone knows what this does at this point. And Putrefy, destroy target artifact or creature, it can't be regenerated. Next up is the ramp. We got Signet and Talisman, Cultivate, Skyshroud Claim, Search for Tomorrow, Heraldic Banner. This one's really nice because you can make it be green and then it gives all your saprolings +1/+0. Kodama's Reach, Farseek, Springbloom Druid, Sakura Tribe Elder, Hunting Wilds, and Wood Elves. So, as you can see, this is just pretty basic ramp for the most part, other than the banner. And so Mutavolt, because it's a saproling and a fungus. You can actually put spore counters on this thing, which can get hilarious. because it gets bigger when you turn into a creature with Thelon. Westvale Abbey. It's a good sacrifice outlet on a land that can flip into some crazy dude. Some real big crazy dude. Yeah, a 9/7 with a bunch of keywords. That's always fun to do. Karn's Bastion, because it lets you proliferate. And Grim Backwoods to sack a dude and draw a card. It's bad rate, but at least it's on a land that you can tap for mana. And then we got just this pile of non-utility lands. Just, yeah, mana fixing and basics. Alright, so that's what this deck consists of. And now we're going to go and look at the mana curve of the deck. This is what the curve of the deck looks like. Just a couple 1-drops. A substantial number of 2-drops. Like, we got a good number of 2-drops here. A lot of it being ramp and funguses. Then we got a good number of 3-drops. So we really are heavy on the 2s and the 3s. And 4 is pretty... 4 is definitely the next biggest. And then 5. And then after that, we just got a couple 6s. Or we got no 6s, a couple 7s, and a couple 8s. And so yeah, the big guys, bam. So that's what the curve looks like. It's a little more even. Like, it's probably average around 3, maybe a little less than 3, just because you have so many 2-drops. But the curve's pretty solid. It's got a pretty solid curve. And now we're just going to some of the key cards. So for the key cards, we got Coat of Arms, because, oh, sorry about that. Coat of Arms, because it is probably the best win con in the deck. It just makes it so your saprolings and funguses hit hard. Doubling Season, it just expedites this deck so fast, because to wait 3 turns to make a saproling is a lot. And so doubling the counters and doubling the saprolings can really substantially improve your board state. The Ancient, just because of the fact that it makes it 2 instead of 3, can help out a lot. Yawgmoth being a proliferate outlet, draw outlet, removal outlet, sacrifice outlet. You can just do everything that this deck wants. He is like one of the best cards in the deck. Michaeloth and Tendershoot Dryad, because they just make so many saplings, and Tendershoot Dryad especially because he got the big buff. Slimefoot, being able to ping people down for sacrificing and having a mana outlet to make more saplings is really nice. The Spore Sower, just because it puts a spore counter on each fungus at the beginning of your upkeep, which is just significantly better. And Skull Clamp, because it's an amazing card draw outlet and sacrifice outlet. So, that's the deck. That's Thelon. If you guys enjoyed this deck tech, please remember to share this video, comment on this video, and like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you do that. If you really want to support the channel, check out my Patreon. It's always linked down below. And you can join the Discord. We do some fun stuff in there. We all just chill in there. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.